And welcome into the first edition of the Panther Pride Show on TV 24 for the 2018 season. I'm John Holder, along with the head football coach of the Walter Wellborn High School Panthers, Coach Jeff Smith. Our weekly look at Wellborn High School football. And, Coach, it was a good look this first week. You opened up week 0. Oak Grove Tigers coming in from western Jefferson County onto the hill to kick off the football season. And big win, 55-13 over Oak Grove.
It really was, and and it was a win that we really desperately needed after the season we had last year. And the kids really had worked hard in the summer, and we went out there and just everything worked.
Well, as after coming out of the spring jamboree at Jacksonville State, I know there's some question marks about the team, and so far this year, you have answered all of those. Great offensive performance and a great defensive performance as well against Oak Grove.
Well, we made the spring game. We were able to use the spring game for what it was, a spring game. And after the spring game, we saw some things that we needed to correct, and we made some good corrections of it. After the spring game, and moved some players around, and we really had a good summer. And we went to the FCA camp at Jacksonville State, and really came together at that camp. It was just a real blessing, and then we came back right here and started our preseason off real good, and had the first ball game. It was a success.
I think you like playing in the week 0 because you get off to that early start. Not everybody plays week 0. Some play jamboree, some don't play at all, and then some teams want to get out and get started and get that regular season game, and this was a regular season game, a counter game to kick it off.
Well, I don't know how everybody else is, but after 3 weeks in the summer, and the things that you can get by and do in the summer now, as far as getting out there and doing work in helmets and everything like that, by the time you get 3 weeks in preseason, those players are so tired of going against themselves that then they're really excited about getting to play somebody, and that's why we've liked to do it.
Well, we're going to take a look at all the highlights of the game, and there were a lot of those highlights from the hill at Walter Wellborn on Friday night. First half highlights coming up next as the Panther Pride Show continues here on TV 24. Back on the Panther Pride Show here on TV 24 with the head coach of the Walter Wellborn Panthers, Coach Jeff Smith. We're going to jump right into the first half highlights, and there were a lot of those, the majority of those 55 points you scored in that first half out of the hill.
That's right. We got in there, and the kids were ready to play, and again, we had a great atmosphere, good crowd, good atmosphere. We started out defensively right here and had some big stops right off the bat, and then I think it was the second play of the game right here. We had a turnover here, and Chase Carroll comes up with a big fumble recovery. And what I love is just seeing those players so excited right there. First play of the game right here, we ran a quarterback keeper right here, and we got 2 linemen out there in front of the quarterback here. And look at the tailback running down there with his hand up too, and Jet took it into the house for a touchdown. All right, we come back on defense, and this is their first play back, the second series, and they threw a lateral, and Contrez Hunt got on it right there, and then here we go again. And the next time the first play again, we broke it again for another touchdown. So we've had two offensive plays and 2 touchdowns to start the game off. Came back defensively right here. They ran a trap to the weak side and kind of got us right there, and our strong safety came. Chase Carroll made a good tackle right here. Right here, you see that's Monte Tice made a good tackle. Here we run a sweep play here with Calvin Spinks, and the film didn't show it as good right then, but we had 2 big blocks from our 2 guards right there, Harley Kendall and Dylan Gilbert, that sprung that. Now we're ahead 20-0 here. Again, we're playing good, solid defense right there. It's Harley Kendall again. He had a really great game and did really well in the game. Here they ran an option play right here, and we played it all out like it should be. Right here, we relaxed. They got in a shotgun here and gave us a formation we weren't ready for right there, and then they broke. That number 1 that they had was a very good player, a good track player too, back at Oak Grove. All right, so they sky kick it here. It went to Calvin Spinks here. We set a good return up. You see some good blocking in front right there, and then he springs it, and we returned the next kickoff for a touchdown here, and puts us up right here now. I think it's 28-6 now. Come back out. They're running the veer, and we're playing our option responsibilities real well. Here they come up with a punt here. We actually had to return Sep to the other side right here, but he couldn't get back to the wall, so he took it. Calvin took it over here to the opposite side right here and got us some good positive yards. Come back out again. We had another quarterback keeper here and had a good run. Again, good blocking. Offensive line has some good blocks right here and here. Again, another quarterback run right here, and we score again right there. So I think Jed had 6 carries for 109 yards and 3 touchdowns in the game. Again, they're running the option. We're doing good responsibility. 64 Harley Kendall, 70 Keegan Pritchett. Good tackling here. You can see right there Monte Tice, 59 right there, defensive end, goes and finishes that up. Here, Calvin's running our power play again right there and gets some good yardage. Right here you see we're in a heavy set right here, and Logan Brooks got his first varsity touchdown here. We ran a blast play right there for the half.
Halftime, a dominant performance, offensively, defensively, special teams, all 3 phases of the game. Wellborn leads it at the half. That's a halftime score, folks. 41-6 in the opener against Oak Grove out on the hill. So obviously, I know all coaches are not totally 100% happy, but you always find some things to complain about, but not a whole lot. Well, I had a really good performance.
There was some technique things that we still got to shore up. I mean, we're never perfect, but the attitude and effort was so good, and the enthusiasm out of the crowd and the team was just wonderful. And during the day, Friday during the day, the kids came in that morning and did real well. And look, our pep rally was just really out of sight. The band, the cheerleader, all the student body was really into it, and I think it made a difference. And then we got into the pregame. The kids were real focused, and then we just got out there and played well.
41-6 at halftime. Wellborn leading Oak Grove. A great night out on the hill at Walter Wellborn. We'll take a look at the second half highlights coming up in just a moment, but also not just the football team, but the Walter Wellborn Highlander Band in action on the hill Friday night as well. Well, Walter Wellborn enjoying the first half, 41-6 over Oak Grove. The band, great show at halftime out on the hill. And then the second half, and I would imagine as we look at these second half highlights, Coach, you had a chance to play some of the younger guys.
Well, that's what we did at halftime. We went in there and made sure everybody knew what they should do on our second team so that they were going to get out there and get to play. We wanted to go out there and do one drive on offense and one drive on defense and then have everybody out. That was the first play to start the third quarter right here. Kentrez Hunt had a great run and broke a trap play. And then we came out here on defensively right here and had another stop coming up here, and they're going to have a fumble coming up here. And they had this run right here, and then they're going to fumble the football, and we pick it up, and then we take all our guys out and made sure empty the bench and make sure everybody got to play. Right here, Jet picked this fumble up right here, and guy tackled him from behind right there, and we substituted out right there and got everybody else into the game here. Had a little miscue right here. They don't get the same reps as the starters do right there, and we gave up a fumble for a touchdown here and made it 48-13. Then we kind of settled down, and the second team here, Kavion Wesley, is playing tailback at this time, and I think we got Brady Johnson at fullback and Lewis Patterson at wingback right here, and they do a good job here. KV right there, that's his first year ever playing football, and if you see him here, he's getting better and better, and he's the one that's ran scout team running back against us this summer, and he's really gave us a good picture. And here we got all our substitutes in on defense here, and you saw Will Waldrop going in there, getting in on that tackle. Here's Tavares Berry right here in pursuit, and Braden Dempsey makes a real good sack here on the quarterback for us right there. He's just a 9th grader. We had a lot of ties with the Oak Grove coaching staff. There's a couple of those guys that actually played for me at Wellborn on their staff, and the head coach there had played for Michael Bowles, Coach Bowles' son, while he was the head coach there. So we had a lot of ties with those guys.
You see the final score there, Wellborn dominating over Oak Grove 55-13, getting off the 2018 season to a fine start. And Coach, I know most folks don't have the luxury, especially in week 1, of getting those young guys maybe their first experience under the lights. And I know that was something that probably will be very important going forward, those guys getting able to play play in a real game.
Well, we're very fortunate that to happen. Going into the game, we did not expect that to happen like that. Oak Grove in the past has been very tough, and very tough and very, very competitive football team. And they came over this year to us right there and called us ready to play. And we were able to get the game under control early and able to play. We played everybody dressed out, and I'm really excited about getting to do that.
That's always good when everybody gets to play in the game, participate, and contribute to the big win. Happy night out on the hill at Walter
Absolutely.
Welborn, and we're going to do what we always do in the past. You got some special weekly awards that you want to give out, so we'll jump into our weekly awards right now and talk about some of these guys that really stood out in week one.
Well, first, our Scrambler Award goes to our best offensive line performance, and that was Dylan Gilbert. He plays weak guard for us, and he graded in the 90s on the offensive line. If anybody knows anything about offensive line, that is a very hard thing to do. Our Racehorse Award goes to our best offensive back performance, and we had three people, Jet, Calvin, and Contreras, all three had great nights right there, so we tied all them for Racehorse. Pancake Block, we had several of those right there. It's Dylan Gilbert, Logan Brooks, Amonte Tyson, Dalton Gilbert. So we had four people tie for that. The Headhunter was a tie between Jet and Logan. Both of them had 10 tackles apiece. The next one, the Big Hog Award, goes to the best defensive line, inside linebacker performance. And we had a tie between Jet, Keontae Curry, and Harley Kendall. They all played well. 12th man was Calvin Sminks, who had the good punt return and the good kickoff return. Hardest hit, Logan Brooks had one, Jet had one, Chase had one, Christian Figueroa, free safety, had one. So they made some big licks, and they all tied for the hardest hit award. And then the meanest Panther was our defensive back, outside linebacker performance, and that was Logan Brooks.
And there's your Offensive and Defensive Player of the Week awards.
Offensive Player of the Week is Dylan Gilbert. Again, he graded in 90s on the offensive line. Defensive Player of the Week was a tie between Harley Kendall and Keontae Curry. And I mentioned earlier about all the stuff that you're able to do in the summer now. And those are our offensive and defensive linemen, and they worked extremely hard, out there doing agility drills, flipping tires and everything else. And it really showed up this, in this game. And, we wanted to make sure we gave credit to them because they've worked so hard.
Coach, you've had a very successful night when you have multiple guys winning these awards.
Absolutely.
Not just one guy, but virtually all those awards there. You had multiple guys winning those awards. I think that speaks to the big night you had.
Well, and we've told our team that, when you win and do the things that you're coached to do, then there's enough credit to go around for everybody. When you lose and you get an award, you're basically a glorified loser. But when you win and everybody buys into that team concept, then there's plenty of credit to go around for everybody.
Well, when we come back, more of the Panther Pride Show here on TV 24. A guy that loves Welborn as much as anybody on this planet, Calhoun County Commissioner Eli Henderson, honored out at the Hill on Friday night. We'll talk about that next.
And his service to Calhoun County as a commissioner and circuit clerk.
The Panther Pride Show with Walter Welborn head football coach Jeff Smith rolls on here on TV 24. And a special ceremony at the game on Friday night at home of the Hill at Walter Welborn. We said before the break, I don't know if there's anybody that, besides maybe you, that loves Welborn as much as Eli Henderson does, county commissioner, longtime supporter of Welborn, everything Welborn. And tell us about what happened here Friday night.
Well, we gave out a service award for, all he's done for our school and community throughout the years. He was just reelected now for county commission, and, just wanted to know that, we love him and we're proud of him.
Well, guys like Eli Henderson, from your position being the head football coach and all it takes to run the football program and so forth, you got to have guys like that. These boosters, these guys that are behind you that help you and support you, those guys are very important to the program.
Well, Welborn's a unique community where we have a lot of, we've got a lot of people out there that's really, my grandmother used to run a store out there in West Anniston, and, we didn't have a school for a long time, and they finally created us a school, in the late 50s. And, our community was just so proud to actually get that. And you can still see that from, a lot of our older adults that we have in our community right there, the pride that they have in, in our school and our community right there, and it shows. And Eli's one of them. He was in the first graduating class, by the way.
Speaking of pride in the community, I know you're very proud out there of the improvements that have been going on with the facilities, not just
Absolutely.
football facilities, but at Walter Welborn High School. I know there's been a lot of construction going on, things out of place, but tell us about what's going on out there.
Well, you know, our school system, allotted so much money to redo our main building and our annex building, and they also air conditioned our new gym. And boy, you talk about nice having that gym air conditioned. That's been a godsend. But they redid the main building and the annex building. And this year, when we had our orientation, I noticed I was out there working out there on the field and everything, and everybody was coming in, and the people, the parents, and the kids were so excited about going into school and starting the school year back. It's the most excited I've seen them starting school in quite a while. But of course, now the last 2 years we've been under construction. Now the construction phase is done and the school is done. It's really beautiful.
Well, we were talking about air conditioning, and it used to be in the old days, these guys would sit up under the air conditioning all summer long, and really football didn't start until August with that first day of official practice.
That's right.
You and I were talking a little bit off the air. That has totally changed. And
Absolutely.
Time August gets around, the summer's already been long for football.
Well, like we finished spring training, and then we gave the kids 2 weeks off, and so we started back the first Monday in June. Well, we went 4 weeks. And then we took the week of the 4th of July off, and then we went 4 weeks in July. And then preseason practice starts up. And the first day of preseason practice, we've been in helmets and shorts the entire summer. And now we start up that Monday, and we're still in helmets and shorts. So it's really not a lot of change. So really, it was Wednesday before they saw much of a change, because that's the first day you can put shoulder pads on them. We went those 4 weeks in June, 4 weeks in July, and then we went 3 weeks in August. And by the time we got to this game Friday, we were just really tired of going against each other and trying to compete against each other. And it was really nice to finally go against somebody else.
Well, this has been a long summer, but it ended with a hot Friday night out on the hill.
That's
And
right.
a big win for Walter Welborn against Oak Grove. And in case you missed the Oak Grove game, Welborn fans, they're going to be at home again this coming Friday night. We'll talk about the Week 1, which is really the Week 2 game for Walter Welborn, coming up as the Panther Pride Show continues here on TV 24. This is the Panther Pride Show with Walter Welborn High School head football coach Jess Smith here on TV 24. Week 1 in the books. Everybody now in high school football will be starting this week, and Welborn will be on to week number 2 of the season. Another non-region game on the hill at Walter Welborn, and a game that I really like from a fan standpoint, and that's next door neighbor, the Lincoln Golden Bears, coming in Friday night on the hill at 7 o'clock.
Well, we're excited about it. They had a big win over Southside this past Friday, and we'll be hosting them this week, and we expect a big crowd. And I think it's a matchup that I think everybody will be excited to see.
Absolutely. Lincoln and Welborn, 2 teams that are just down the road from each other on Highway 78. So, as you said, should be a fantastic matchup there. Lincoln off to a good start. You're off to a good start. That's one of those matchups when I see Lincoln and Welborn. That's what high school football in East Alabama is all about. We'll have some good weather again Friday night, a little on the warm side, but we would love to have you out there to support the Panthers on the hill at Welborn. 7 o'clock is the kickoff time. Now, we're going to start region play, Coach, next week, but we'll go ahead and get your early thoughts here before we get into region play. Just overall, maybe not one particular team, but overall, your thoughts on Class 3A Region 6.
Well, it's definitely, to me, the toughest region in the state, especially in 3A. From top to bottom, if you look at that, there's so many good teams on there, and I feel pretty good that the state champion this year will come out of this region.
I would agree with you 100% there. As we've seen over the last few years, the teams that make the playoffs out of this region are as good as anybody in the state. You've got teams that finish maybe 4th in this region that could win regions in other parts of the state, and that's not really far-fetched.
Absolutely, and there's teams that don't make the playoffs that finish, like, let's say, the 5th and 6th seeds out of there that would be playoff teams in other regions too. It's just a very tough region from top to bottom right there, and some very good coaches that do a very good job with their teams.
As we wind up our time here, just got about a minute or so left in the show, what's the biggest thing you're looking for out of your team going from week 1 to week 2?
Well, Coach Burgess and Coach Bowles used to always say the most improvement that you ever do is from week 1 to week 2. So that's hopefully what we want to accomplish. You know, we want to take what we did Friday night and improve that into week 2 right there, and then, you know, of course, then we go into region play where those games start counting as far as going to the playoffs. So, you know, we need to see some improvement from week 1 to week 2 right there, and then get us ready to start the region play.
And we'll have all the highlights right back here next week on the Panther Pride Show on TV 24 with head coach of the Panthers, Coach Jeff Smith. We'll see you on the Hill Friday night and next week here on the Panther Pride Show.